Following a Week 11 slate of college football games that was something of a dud after multiple contests were canceled or postponed, it's fair to wonder how many games will actually be played this weekend. There have already been a few cancellations, including number 5 Texas A&M against Ole Miss, and there will likely be more as this week progresses. But for now, we're on tap for a good week of college football. Ohio State faces a tough test against upstart Indiana. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State square off in a meaningful Big 12 clash. And Wisconsin will look to halt a streaky Northwestern team that has been steadily climbing the rankings. Beyond those three matchups between ranked teams, there is always the potential for an upset or two that would shake up the rankings. Who will throw a wrench into things this week? Let's find out. For this is Week 12 of Strictly Sports College Football Thursday. Hello, friends, and welcome to Week 12 of Strictly Sports College Football Thursday. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined by my elite panel, as always, good old MF Michael Fletcher, Michael Bullock, and gentlemen, we lost a few games this week because of COVID. What else is new? Including, for the second week in a row, the SEC on CBS has to take a back seat. They missed out on Alabama and LSU last week, and this week they have to miss out on Ole Miss and Texas A&M. Hopefully next week they'll get to do the Iron Bowl. So that's all I can say there. But Georgia Tech and Miami, they're out. Marshall's game, I believe it was against Charlotte, that's gone. And then from there, you also have the situation with Louisiana Lafayette. They're out as well. So I believe we have 16 games on our docket this week. So with all that being said, well, actually, we actually have a rare Thursday night game, and it's in progress right now over on ESPN. The number 25 Tulsa Golden Hurricane at home against the Green Wave of Tulane. And Tulsa is on upset alert. Tulsa is losing 14-7, 9:17 to go in the fourth from Chapman Stadium in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And for those who are looking for that game, you can find it over on ESPN. And you'll have Matt Berry, Mike Golick Jr., and Chris Budden. They're on the call for that one right now. So we'll definitely keep an eye on it. If anything breaking happens, we'll let you know. But number 25 Tulsa is on upset alert, guys. So let's keep an eye on that. But for now, let's get into this week's action. The action that'll go on Saturday. And I think we're doing this backwards, guys, because we're kicking things off with the main event. The main event of the week is already going to start this thing off. So here you go. It's the big noon game over on Fox. The number 3 Ohio State Buckeyes hosting the now number 9 Indiana Hoosiers from Ohio Stadium in Columbus, Ohio, the Horseshoe. Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, the All-American girl, Jenny Taft, and I believe, I don't believe it or not, we don't have a spread because I think it's a pick'em game, but nonetheless, you would have to imagine Ohio State's got it.
Ohio State 3-point favorite.
3-point favorite. All right, MF. So, definitely appreciate that knowledge. So here you go. Game of the week: Indiana, Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan looked like the biggest hurdles on the Ohio State schedule when the season began, but the Wolverines' early struggles have turned this game against Indiana into the contest that could decide the Buckeyes' playoff fate. The Buckeyes piled up 51 points and 520 total yards in a blowout victory a year ago. This is undoubtedly an improved Hoosiers team, but it's fair to wonder if it's really closed the gap enough to give an extremely talented Ohio State team a serious run. Maybe for the first half and into the third quarter, I think they can, but I think ultimately Ohio State's going to pull away and win this thing at the end. Ohio State knocks off Indiana in what I consider the game of the week by the numbers here. 35-20, Ohio State knocks off Indiana. So There's really nothing more to say. Mr. Big Ten, good old MF Michael Fletcher. I mean, this is an MF special because this is your conference. This is the Big Ten. We already knew Ohio State was, Ohio State's always great, but who would have thought Indiana? If I had said Indiana was going to be 4-0 and in the top 10, what would you have said to me?
Yeah, no, I always said no way, no how. And yeah, absolutely. And they've had some big wins, dominating performances up to this point. And now they got the biggest test of them all. Can they figure out what every Big Ten team up to this point has not been able to figure out? Can you beat Ohio State? Can you beat the creme a la creme? If you can, that's a huge win for you. And that starts to make people think about maybe Indiana being in the top 4, playing for maybe in the college football playoff. So, I mean, there's a hope. There's a chance. You never know. But yeah, but I do believe Ohio State will figure it out. I think they'll get the game. It'll be a tough game, but I got Ohio State winning. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, like you said, if you asked me that Indiana and Ohio State at the beginning of when the Big Ten return was going to be a game of the week candidate, I would have said no way. But Indiana's really proven something, but this is going to be a true test for Indiana to go into Ohio State and to beat this really good Buckeyes team. So, yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see how it goes. I mean, Indiana, I think will give them fits, but I think in the end, Ohio State will pull this out. And yeah, if Indiana can somehow pull off the upset, then I could see them probably going into maybe the top 4 and maybe getting into that college football playoff conversation. But yeah, I got Ohio State winning. There's nothing more to say, Florida. Let's move on.
All right, and we move on to the team that's currently at number 4 for the first time since probably the most demoralizing loss in school history. The number 4, Clemson Tigers, looking to bounce back from that demoralizing loss at Notre Dame in that game of the century a couple weeks ago. They're going to be on the road at Doak Campbell Stadium in Tallahassee as they square off against the Florida State Seminoles. Once upon a time, this was a fun game, but not so much this time around. This game is at high noon. This will be over on ABC. And if I'm not mistaken, I do believe Dave Patch's crew was working this game. Yes, Dave Patch with Mike Golick and Don Davenport. Once upon a time, this game was fun to watch and usually would be a pick'em game. Oh, no. It's not that. Oh, no. Second biggest spread of the week. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Clemson is a 35-point favorite against Florida State. Gee, I wonder why. All right, MF, I think it's needless for me to say, I think Clemson is going to have a nice, easy bounce back after getting their hearts ripped out by Notre Dame a couple weeks ago.
Not only that, Trevor Lawrence is back. And you already know he's been itching to get back on the field. Ever since he got the COVID and everything else and had to miss the game against Notre Dame, which he tried so hard to get in. And you know he was trying hard to get into that game. But he was unable to go, medically unfit to go. And now he goes up against Florida State. They're reeling. They lost. And now you're going up against a Florida State team that's not good, had a tough season up to this point. Yeah, you already know how this is going to play out. Nothing more to say. Clemson wins easily. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, with Trevor Lawrence back, it's already been a tough season for Florida State, and it's only going to get tougher for them in this game. Clemson wins in a rout. Florio, it's yours.
I will make it unanimous, gentlemen. Since upsetting then number 5 North Carolina on October 17, Florida State has lost 3 straight by a combined 72 points. Now it gets to face a Clemson team that has had 2 weeks to stew on a 47-40 double overtime loss to Notre Dame in the game of the century a couple weeks ago, and will presumably have Trevor Lawrence back under center. This is going to be a statement game for the Tigers, and the Seminoles will unfortunately be on the receiving end. It will not be a 5-star classic like we saw back in 2014. Oh, no, honey. Clemson rolls all day long, 48-14. That's it. So nothing more to say. Let's move on to our next matchup. Speaking of Florida, the other big team in Florida, the number 6 Florida Gators, and they got a gimme of their own. They're going to be squaring off against the proverbial doormat of the SEC, the Vanderbilt Commodores at Vanderbilt Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee. This game will be over on ESPN, and Bob Wischusen, Dan Orlovsky, and Paul Carcaterra, they're going to be on the call for that one. Florida, they have a big spread of their own. Not as big as Clemson. It's the number 3. It's the 3rd largest spread of this week. Florida is opening up as a 31-point favorite. All right, Bullock, Florida against the proverbial doormat of the SEC, 31-point favorites. Yeah, I think we all know how this goes.
Yeah, I think we all know how this one goes. Florida wins this one in the laugher. I mean, they're gonna run all over Vanderbilt. So I'm not gonna waste much more time on this one. Florio, it's yours.
Absolutely. The last time Vanderbilt won a game against an FBS opponent was October 19th of 2019. It has lost 10 in a row since then, with a win over FCS team East Tennessee State, sandwiched in late last season. The Gators are eyeing a college football playoff spot, and Heisman Trophy candidate Kyle Trask is playing at an elite level right now, coming off a 356-yard, 6-touchdown performance against Arkansas without Kyle Pitts in the lineup. This one will be over before anyone breaks a sweat. 49-13, Florida, all over Vandy. MF, I smell another squash here.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Florida should dominate. They should basically use the will of the game and everything else. Yeah, Florida wins, and Florida wins easily. Nothing more to say, Anthony.
Yes, sir.
Let's move on.
Okay, and let's see. And now, gentlemen, we're going to get to the biggest spread of the week. Heck, I think it's the biggest spread for this 2020 season to date. Even bigger than the infamous Marshall spread from a couple weeks ago, the one that MF and I had fun with. And I'm glad Bullock's here because he gets to join in on the fun on this one. But let me set it up first. The number 8 BYU Cougars at home at Lavelle Edwards Stadium in Provo, Utah. They're going to be hosting the Lions of North Alabama. And this game is going to be over on ESPN 3, one of those streaming channels there. And on the call for that one, I don't think I see it on my announcer sheet here. It's not on my announcer sheet. I don't have who's going to be calling this game, but it's going to be on one of those streaming things anyway, ESPN 3, whatever it is. So, but now let's get to the fun here. Our previous big spread this year, you remember, MF, you remember, it was a couple weeks ago. Marshall, they went up against UMass, and Marshall was favored by 44.5. We have a spread that's even bigger than that. BYU is opening up against North Alabama. Are you ready for this? They are opening up as, here it comes, a 47.5 favorite.
What?
Ouch!
I'm not kidding, guys. 47.5.
Okay, hold up. I told you guys that the 44.5 was way too high, and I was right. I'm telling you this, 47, and this is BYU?
47.5.
And this is BYU. too low. I'm sorry.
I agree.
That spread is too low. That thing should have been at least in the 50s. At
Agreed.
least one more touchdown. They're going to cover
Agreed.
that.
And the over-under is 58.5. That's the over-under.
Oh my God. These boys in Vegas don't know what BYU is doing.
Well, I'm just going to sum it up by this as I start this one off. This is a high noon game, by the way. Well, actually, I was a little off. There's one other high noon game that I missed, but I thought it was in the noon window. I do apologize. It's been a long day for me, but let's get to the game that we should have gotten to here. That BYU game is going to be after this one, but this is the other high noon game. This is the other big high noon game, and this is a battle of the darlings. This is a Tony special. You know how much I love underdog stories, and here we go. This final high noon game, oh my God, this is going to be fun. Over on ESPN2, the number 15 Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, the new darling of the game, going up against one of the OGs, the Mountaineers of MF and Bullock's all-time favorite, Appalachian State. Appalachian State, Coastal Carolina, Brooks Stadium in Conway, South Carolina, over on ESPN2. And on the spread and on the call for that one, it'll be Clay Matvick with Dustin Fox and Marty Smith. And Coastal Carolina opening up as a 4.5-point favorite. Don't worry, we'll get to that BYU game in just a moment. But as far as this is concerned, Coastal Carolina already has wins over ranked Louisiana Lafayette and a good Georgia Southern squad. But tough tests remain against Appalachian State this weekend, and then number 21 Liberty in 2 weeks on December 5th on its road to an undefeated season. This week's matchup features a pair of offenses averaging more than 40 carries and 200 rushing yards a game. So whoever does a better job controlling the other team's rushing attack will likely come out on top. The Chanticleers have allowed under 100 rushing yards in back-to-back games, so I'm going to give them the edge. I believe in this team. So I'm going with Coastal Carolina to win this game, 31-28. Give me Coastal Carolina to beat Appalachian State and cement themselves as the new darlings of college football against one of the OGs. So nothing more to say. MF, Tony special right here. Battle of the Darlings. Can Coastal Carolina keep it going? Or will one of the OGs, Appalachian State, put the kibosh on their magical run?
Yeah, I kind of feel like Coastal Carolina is a team on a mission this year. I think they want to be the next Appalachian State, the next Boise State, whatever you want to say it. I think Coastal Carolina is going to get the job done. It's not going to be easy because I think they're really going to get pushed by Appalachian State, but I think Coastal Carolina will do just enough to get the job done and win this game. So I really got nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it is yours. I got Coastal Carolina, but it's going to be close.
Yeah, I got Coastal Carolina winning it as well, but yeah, it ain't going to be easy. This is going to be a true test for them against the Appalachian State. Part of me would not be surprised if Appalachian State does pull off the major upset. Will they actually do it? We'll find out. But I got Coastal Carolina winning, but man, it's going to be a close one. So, Florio, it is yours.
Man, that's going to be hella fun, man. I can't wait to see that. I mean, I'll definitely be flipping back and forth between that and the Indiana-Ohio State matchup, no question. But for right now, gentlemen, now we're going to get into the big one here. I'll set it up one more time here. This is a 3:00 matchup over on that ESPN 3. That's why I couldn't find it. It was in that 3:00 window. Maybe I can find it now. So, all right. It's on ESPN 3, and it's also on BYU TV with Dave McCann, Blaine Fowler, and Jerome Jordan They are going to be on the call for this North Alabama BYU game at Lavelle Edwards Stadium in Provo, Utah. And yes, folks, what I just said a moment ago, that's exactly what I have on my spread on my odds sheet here. BYU opening up as a 47.5 favorite, and the over-under is 58.5. And MF, before I give it to you here, Tulsa has tied things up with Tulane. It is a 14-14 game, 1:53 to go in the fourth quarter. We got some Shakespearean drama in Tulsa, Oklahoma, so we'll keep an eye on this as that's over on ESPN. So, all right, MF, BYU, North Alabama, 47.5 point spread. What were you going to say about this?
Well, I was going to say that first off, I'm going to say that BYU wins the game. That's a given. I also predict that they're going to go over the 47 spread. So that's my prediction on that. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, BYU is going to win in a major laugher here, and I'll even go as far as to say it. 58-0 is going to be the final score for me. So, Florio, it's yours.
Yeah. All kidding aside, this one is going to be ugly. BYU has been held below 40 points just once all season. An FCS opponent, North Alabama, is going to have zero answers for such a high-powered offense. This one will be out of reach by halftime. And BYU quarterback Zach Wilson will likely be watching from the sidelines long before the final whistle. BYU in a rout, 59-10. That's it. So there's really nothing more to say. Now let's get into some serious business. Now that's the 3:00 window. So let's go into the 3:30 window. We have 3 games here, and we got another beauty here. We got some great matchups this week. All kidding aside, but here we go. Here's another one of the games of the week right here. The number 7 Cincinnati Bearcats squaring off against the UCF Knights at I forgot the name of the stadium. I know it was I think it's like Bright Network Stadium or something like that in Orlando, Florida. This will be over on ESPN, and on the call for that one. We got a little wobbling here. All right, hold on. Okay. Okay. Mark Jones, Dusty Dvorak, and Quint Kessenich will be on the call. And Cincinnati opening up as a 5-point favorite. So Michael Bullock, we started with you. One of the games of the week, number 7 Cincinnati. Their toughest test yet as they square off against a very good UCF team. And we know what this team's been capable of the last few years now, don't we?
Oh, yeah, definitely. We know what UCF has been capable of. And, yeah, this could definitely be a trap game for Cincinnati. But, yeah, Cincinnati, I mean, they need to get off to a good start and really put some pressure on UCF. If UCF makes this close throughout the game, they could be on an upset alert. But so I got Cincinnati winning this one, but again, it's not going to be easy. Florio, it's yours.
And breaking news from the Tulane and Tulsa game: Tulane has just taken the lead on a 19-yard touchdown pass. 1:38 to go. Tulsa has just gone up, or I should say Tulsa is now trailing once again. Tulane has just taken the lead. A 5-play, 28-yard drive in a minute 38. Extra point is good. 21-14, Tulane. Tulsa has a minute 38 to answer, or they're going to have a very short stay in the top 25. So, wow. Very interesting development there. So, but anyways, getting back to Cincy and UCF at the Bright House Network Stadium, formerly Spectrum Stadium in Orlando, Florida. It has been a disappointing season for a UCF squad that began the year one spot behind Cincinnati at number 21 in the AP poll and climbed as high as number 11 before suffering back-to-back losses to Tulsa and Memphis. This is still a good Knights team that leads the nation with 619.1 total yards a game, and quarterback Dylan Gabriel is having a terrific season with 2,774 yards and 23 touchdowns against just 2 interceptions. Very impressive. However, the Bearcats have been dominant all year, winning each of their 7 games by multiple touchdowns, and they have the top-to-bottom talent to withstand an offensive onslaught. High-scoring affair, but Cincinnati keeps their magical season of their own going. 38-31, Cincinnati steals one at UCF. Nothing more to say. MF, Cincinnati and UCF. Fun 3:30 game there.
Sorry, yeah. This is gonna be a good one. Yeah. I kind of have to feel like Cincinnati is gonna win this game, though. UCF is gonna give them some fits. They're gonna give them problems, but like you said, I think Cincinnati will figure it out. I think they'll get the job done. Really nothing more to add, Anthony. So let's just move right on along.
All right, and here comes another one of the games of the week right here. Another big game in the Big Ten. The number 10 Wisconsin Badgers squaring off against the number 19 Northwestern Wildcats from Ryan Field in Evanston, Illinois. 3:30 game over on ABC. And on the call for that one, it'll be Sean McDonough, Todd Blackledge, Todd McShay, and Molly McGrath. And Wisconsin opening up as a 7-point favorite in this one. Another one of our top games of the week. Wisconsin faces its first real test of the season Saturday after steamrolling an inferior Illinois team and then trouncing a struggling Michigan squad last Saturday following a 2-week COVID-19 induced layoff. Northwestern has likewise been largely untested during a 4-0 start, squeaking out 3 straight narrow victories against unranked opponents. The Wildcats defense is going to keep things close, and this should be a good old-fashioned, grinded-out Big Ten game a la Michael Fletcher, but the Badgers have looked like the superior team to this point. But I would not at all be surprised if Northwestern were to steal this one, especially with it being in Northwestern. But I just got this feeling about Wisconsin, so I'm going to go with Wisconsin to win this game. 28-20, Wisconsin beats Northwestern. So nothing more to say, MF. This one's for you, man. I mean, a good old grinded out Big Ten game, and I know that's exactly how you like it in your conference.
Absolutely, you're like a David versus Goliath. This is it. 27-21, Wisconsin getting the win. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, after what Wisconsin went through with their COVID outbreak, you know that they're going to be out there wanting to prove a point here. So, yeah, I got Wisconsin winning this one as well. So there's really nothing more to add to it. So let's move right along, Florio.
Yes, indeed. And we have, I believe, one more 3:30 game, and we want to send a special shout out to our good friend Eric Carrier because it's his team. The number 11 Oregon Ducks back at home at Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon. They're going to be hosting the UCLA Bruins, and this will be over on ESPN2 in that 3:30 window, and it'll be Jason Benetti with Andre Ware and Taylor McGregor. They will have the call. Oregon opening up as a 16-point favorite. So, MF, I smell another easy win for Eric Carrier's team, the Oregon Ducks.
I do believe so as well. I do believe Oregon will get the win here. It's not going to be easy, but I do believe Oregon will get the win. And yeah, I don't see any major issues here. So nothing more to say. Yeah, Mike Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I got Oregon winning this one as well. I mean, yeah, it won't be easy, but in the end, I just see them basically coming out on top of this one. So nothing more to say. Florio, it is yours.
Yeah. The Ducks have not looked like the clear Pac-12 frontrunner many painted them as heading into the season, trailing Washington State 19-14 at halftime last week and allowing 421 yards of total offense in a 43-29 win. If the UCLA defense can stymie the running game the way it did last week against Cal, when it allowed 54 yards on 28 carries, the Ducks could be in some trouble. That will be easier said than done, though, considering the Ducks have rushed for 538 yards in 2 games. Oregon wins 38-24 over UCLA. So not much more to say there. Let's get into the 4 o'clock window. We have a couple of games there, and we got another squash here, even though it's in the SEC. We got the number one team in all the land, the Alabama Crimson Tide. They're going to be back at home at Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa. They're going to be hosting the Kentucky Wildcats. And this will be over on the SEC network. And on the call for that one will be Tom Hart with Jordan Rogers and Cole Kubelik. Alabama opening up as a 30-point favorite. I do believe it. This one goes to Bullock. So Michael Bullock, I think it's those 2 legendary words we always like to say with a Bama game. Next victim.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Kentucky Wildcats, they are going to be the next victim. I mean, especially at Alabama's definitely want to win, especially after not being able to play last week because of COVID. And yeah, it's going to be a long afternoon for the Kentucky Wildcats. So it's Crimson Tide all day. Roll Tide, roll. Florio, it's yours.
Roll Tide, roll. No doubt about this. After it put together an 8-5 season that included a 4-game winning streak to close out the year, many had high hopes for Kentucky going into this 2020 campaign. Instead, the Wildcats are off to a 3-4 start and have struggled to find consistency on offense with 3 games of 13 points or less. Meanwhile, Alabama has steadily rounded into dominant form after showing some holes on the defensive side of the ball early in the season. It threw a 41-0 shutout against Mississippi State last week, and an equally dominant performance seems likely at home against the Wildcats. 42-13, Alabama rolls all over Kentucky. So nothing more to say. MF, next victim.
Yeah, no argument here. Next victim indeed. It's gonna be a big. Oh my God! Are you kidding me?
What?
Oh!
Tulsa has just pulled a Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins here. 37-yard Hail Mary on the last play of the game on 3rd and a decent amount.
3rd and 7, I believe. Yeah, touchdown.
37. That's, of course, we got to make sure that everything was all fine and dandy with this before we can take a look at it.
Oh yeah, perfect touchdown.
Oh,
no, there's no doubt.
Oh, there's no doubt here. Yep, I 100% agree. That's very likely going to stand. And
they got to review it, but it looked good from the vantage point that I saw. The ruling on the field is touchdown. Let's see, coming to the ground, and there's nothing there for me to see it overturned. There's nothing there for me to see to say that this gets overturned. So I'm pretty sure this is going to get confirmed. Let's see. He falls. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a touchdown.
Unreal.
Oh wow.
Tulsa just pulled. They basically pulled their own version of the Hail Murray. I mean,
Yeah.
like what we saw this past Sunday when Kyler Murray found DeAndre Hopkins for the Arizona Cardinals to beat my Buffalo Bills for their most demoralizing loss since the Music City Miracle 20 years ago. But it is under review, but we think it's going to stand. So
Yep. We'll keep it. We'll keep our eyes peeled. If something gets overturned, we'll let you know. But oh wait, hold, and touchdown confirmed. All right.
okay,
So TD
it is
confirmed.
good.
Yep. And
All
now we're
we
just
need now
awaiting
is
the
the point.
PAT.
Kick the PAT, and we're off to OT, and we will be off to overtime between Tulane and Tulsa. I mean,
Well, you talked about that Shakespearean drama. You talked about excitement. Well, we found it. Here it is.
exactly. So here you go. And the extra point is up, and it is good. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to overtime. Number
All right.
25, Tulsa and Tulane. We'll definitely keep an eye on this, but that's the big development right there. So, yeah. So, MF, I think you finished. I think you were just finishing off your Bama thought there.
Yeah, I was thinking. I was definitely gonna finish my Bama thought before I got interrupted. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Alabama. They're gonna win this game. I really got nothing more to add, Michael Anthony. So let's just move right on along.
Yeah, I believe Bullock started it off. So,
Yeah.
so let's get to our other 4 o'clock game, which will be over on Fox. It's one of 2 big games from the Big 12, and this is the second big game out of the Big 12. The big one's coming up in a little bit. The number 17 Iowa State Cyclones at home at Jack Trice Stadium in Ames, Iowa. They're going to be hosting the Wildcats of Kansas State, and this will be over on Fox with Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman. And Iowa State, it's Iowa State opening up as an 11-point favorite here. So let's get into this matchup here. The Big 12 has spent much of the year cannibalizing itself, leaving Iowa State atop the standings with a 5-1 record in conference play. For all the hype surrounding quarterback Brock Purdy entering the year, it's running back Breece Hall, who has led the way offensively with an FBS leading 1,034 yards and 13 touchdowns. Kansas State has lost consecutive games since briefly climbing into the AP poll, and the Wildcats are allowing 161 rushing yards a game. Expect a big game from Hall and a comfortable victory for the Cyclones. 30-21, Iowa State over Kansas State. MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm actually with you on that one, Florio. Iowa State definitely has been looking a lot better than they were earlier. Kansas State, Jekyll and Hyde mostly. I got Iowa State. I got them winning. Nothing more to say. Bullock, go.
Yeah, I got Iowa State winning this one as well. I mean, yeah, they look really good, and I see that continuing for them. So there's nothing more to say. Let's move on, Florio.
All right. So let's and now we're going to go to prime time, gentlemen. It's the prime time window. We have 5 games left here, and we go into the 7 o'clock game here, and it will be back in the AP poll. The number 23 Auburn Tigers at home at Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn, Alabama. They're going to be hosting the Tennessee Volunteers on the ESPN SEC Saturday Night Game of the Week. And on the call for that one will be Joe Tessitore, Greg McElroy, and Allison Williams. And I don't have a spread for this one. MF, maybe you can provide it. But you started off, MF. Number 23, Auburn, back in the top 25 at home against Tennessee.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with Auburn, too. I think Auburn will turn it around. I think they get the job done. It's going to be an interesting game, to say the very least. But I got Auburn winning. Nothing more to say. Bullock, go.
Yeah, yeah, it's good to see Auburn back in the top 25, and and I look to see them continuing that momentum and keeping them in the top 25. So I got them winning this one. So let's move on to you, Florio.
Yeah. Okay, hang on a minute here. Okay, since a disappointing 2-2 start torpedoed their playoff hopes, Auburn has scored convincing wins over Ole Miss 35-28 and LSU 48-11 to climb back into the AP top 25. Meanwhile, Tennessee is riding a 4-game losing streak, allowing 408 total yards a game and 5.8 yards a play on the year. The Tigers need to be careful not to get caught looking ahead to the Iron Bowl next week, but they should have no trouble running it up against the Vols. So Auburn gets the win, 35-20. That's my final. So nothing more to say. Let's move on to the first of 3 7:30 games, and we started off with the number 13 Maiden Georgia Bulldogs back at home at Sanford Stadium in Athens, those infamous hedges down there. And they're going to be hosting the Mississippi State Bulldogs over on the SEC network. And on the call for that will be Dave Neal with DJ Shockley and Lauren Sisler. And Georgia opening up as a 24.5-point favorite. So I believe Bullock, I believe it's you who starts this one off. Maine and Georgia back at home, number 13. They're hosting Mississippi State. Your thoughts, Bullock?
Yeah, they're back at home at Sanford Stadium, and I expect them to play really well here, and I expect them to handle Mississippi State as far as I'm concerned. So I got the Maine and Georgia Bulldogs winning this one. So Florio, I give it to you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's going to be Georgia, no question here. Since opening the season with a 44-34 upset victory over that number 6 LSU, Mississippi State has gone 1-4 and has been outscored 131-54 along the way. Georgia is not the team many expected it to be, and questions remain at the quarterback position entering its 7th game of the season. But this one is not going to be close. Mississippi State just isn't very good. And Georgia has enough talent on the defensive side of the ball to control the game, even if the offense sputters. Georgia wins. Maiden Georgia Bulldogs win this one, 31-13. I got Maiden Georgia all over Mississippi State. So MF unanimous?
Unanimous. I got Georgia as well. Gentlemen, I'll just be right back. Gotta use the men's room, so it's all yours.
All right. I lead this game. I lead off on this one anyway. And gentlemen, are you ready for some bedlam? Ho. Here we go. The other humongous game of the week right here. The legendary Bedlam Brawl, as they call it. The number 14 Oklahoma State Cowboys squaring off against the number 18 Oklahoma Sooners at the Gaylord Family Memorial Stadium in Norman, Oklahoma. On ABC, this is the ABC Saturday night game of the week. And you know who's going to be there for this one. It's going to be Chris Fowler with Kirk Herbstreit and Holly Rowe filling in for Maria Taylor. I don't know what's going on with her, but this is the Fowler and Herbie game right here. The Bedlam game, guys. So here we go. The other huge game of the week right here. The Big 12 may already be eliminated from playoff contention, but this game has significant New Year's Six bowl implications. Oklahoma has won 5 in a row and 15 of the last 17 in the Bedlam series. And it comes into this game with no shortage of momentum following blowout wins over Texas Tech 62-28 and Kansas 62-9. The Cowboys present a much tougher test, but they have been flirting with disaster all year. And the Sooners, I believe, will seize the opportunity to salvage a disappointing season. I am going with Oklahoma to defeat Oklahoma State in this Bedlam game. 35-21, even though Oklahoma State is opening up as a 7-point favorite. I'm going with Oklahoma to win this game. 35-21. Nothing more to say. MF, are you ready for some Bedlam?
Oh, yeah, this is going to be a great game. Everybody knows whenever Bedlam gets going, it is on. You're right. I'm going to go with Oklahoma as well. I really think Oklahoma is going to pull off the upset. I really got nothing more to say. So, yeah, it's all yours, Michael Bullock.
Yeah, I'm ready for some Bedlam as well. And Oklahoma's going to definitely come out ready to play here. So I got the Oklahoma Sooners winning this one as well. So there's really nothing more to say. Let's move on, Florio.
And a quick update from Tulsa. Tulsa has kicked the field goal. They lead Tulane 24-21. Tulane has the ball. 2nd and 7 in their turn of overtime. And, almost intercepted, but incomplete there. 3rd down. We'll keep an eye on that in just a moment. So with that, let's move on to the other 7:30 game. Speaking of new darlings of college football, here comes another one. The number 21 Liberty Flames on the road as they will square off against the Wolfpack of North Carolina State at Carter Finley Stadium in Raleigh, North Carolina, over on a network called CSS. I'm guessing this is another one of those streaming network things, I guess. ACC RSN or ESPN3. Tom Wormy with James Bates and Kelly Cruel will have the call. And NC State is opening up as a 3.5-point favorite. So, and by the way, Tulane, they're on 4th down. It's a 4th and 7, and it looks like they're gonna attempt for a game-tying field goal here to force it into a second overtime. It's gonna be from 39 yards out, and the kick is on the way, and it is just barely good. So we're going to a second overtime with Tulane and Tulsa. Keep an eye on that. So, all right, MF, Liberty, the other new darling of college football, another tough test for them. They got to go into NC State, take on NC State, Carter Finley Stadium. Can Liberty keep this magical season going?
I'm going to say yes. I do believe so. I think now more than ever, they've earned the respect of everybody in the league. They've been playing great nowadays, so I got to say it. I got Liberty winning the game, so I really got nothing more to say. Anthony, Michael Bullock, it's yours. I got Liberty.
Yeah, I got Liberty winning this one as well. I think they're going to continue this magical run, and so there's really nothing more for me to say. Florio, it is yours.
Yeah. The Flames survived a tough test against Virginia Tech 2 weeks ago when quarterback Malik Willis threw for 217 yards and 3 touchdowns while scrambling for another 108 yards and a score. And he will have to bring it again Saturday night against NC State. The Wolfpack have only lost to ranked teams, and they played Miami tough in a 44-41 loss 2 weeks ago. That said, Hurricanes quarterback De'Ara King threw for 430 yards and 5 touchdowns with another 105 yards on the ground. So Willis should be in for a big day leading the Liberty attack. I believe Liberty 31-28, Liberty over NC State. So nothing more to say except we have one more game on the docket. Pac-12 After Dark. Yep, Pac-12 After Dark over on ESPN. And it'll be the number 20 USC Trojans squaring off against the Utah Utes in their season debut. Rice-Eccles Stadium, Salt Lake City, Utah. This game will be over on ESPN, as I said, for the Pac-12 After Dark. And on the call for that one will be Dave Fleming with Rod Gilmore and Stormy Buonantony. USC opening up as a 3-point favorite. Michael Bullock, your thoughts on the final game of the week, USC and Utah in Pac-12 After Dark.
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Utah comes out for their first game of the year. Obviously, it was delayed because of COVID, so that's going to be something to keep an eye on. So, yeah, USC looked good in its first game, so I I actually expect them to continue. So I got the USC Trojans winning this one. So Florio, it is yours.
Yeah. But USC though, they've had to battle for those 2 wins. They've had to come from behind against both Arizona State and Arizona. And I could easily see them doing that again here. While the Trojans are off to a 2-0 start after being picked to win the Pac-12 South in the conference's preseason poll, those 2 victories have come by a combined 5 points. And they needed a touchdown in the final minute to pull out a win against an Arizona team picked to finish last in the division. Utah lost a lot from an 11-3 team that climbed as high as number 5 in the AP poll last year, including quarterback Tyler Huntley, running back Zach Moss, who's with my Buffalo Bills, and defensive end Bradley Ane. With 9 starters to replace on defense, there's a good chance it will still be trying to fit all the pieces together in its opener. USC, I think, they've been the cardiac kids all year, these 2 games. And I think it's going to be a third. I think USC will win. It's going to be another close one. I wouldn't be surprised if it's another last-second win. Oh, Tulsa interception, and Tulsa's going to win this thing.
Yup. Pick 6 to end it.
Tulsa survives. Channel, let's get that Dusty Rhodes from Uncensored. Woo! They survived. That's all there is to say on that. They survived. Tulsa wins it in double overtime, 30-24 on a pick 6. Wow.
Oof.
MF, USC and Utah to close it out.
Yeah, USC. You know what? I get it. I understand why everybody's saying about it, but I'm gonna say it. I gotta go with you. I gotta go with USC. I don't know why. I just do. I believe that I just feel like they're the better team. So I'm gonna go with USC. I think they're gonna win it. So nothing more to say. Mike Bullock, I give it to you.
Bullock already led off. So gentlemen, hang about here because we have some business to address here, and we want to let you folks know about some big, exciting programs coming up. But before we get into that, next week, as you know, next Thursday we will not have a College Football Thursday because it is Thanksgiving after all. That's going to go in the next Wednesday. I'll explain in a moment. But here we go. Here we go, folks. Very exciting content coming up. Tomorrow night, we got the Cerebral Smack Talk. MF will have it. Braves Fan 95. We will review the final Friday Night SmackDown before Survivor Series. And then after that, we will preview the Survivor Series. And then Saturday night, right back here on the Tone 25 for another edition of NFL Saturday. Some exciting games. We got the Cardinals and the Seahawks battling it out right now on Fox. So we'll get into that. We'll recap that game and we'll get into the rest of the slate. Sunday, we will have our recap of the Survivor Series. MF will host that. Monday, we got Ridiculously Raw. And here's where the special stuff comes in. This Tuesday night, a special edition of Strictly Sports as we are going to recap the 2020 NBA draft that went down last night. And then from there, next Wednesday, Wednesday, normally it is Wednesday Night Mayhem when we review AEW, Dynamite, and NXT. Oh, no. It's going to be our 9th annual Strictly Sports Football Feast. Oh, yeah. We're going to preview the 3 Thanksgiving games in the NFL, Houston and Detroit, Washington and Dallas, and the big one in primetime, Baltimore and Pittsburgh. And we'll also preview the full college football slate, including, listen to this lineup next week, guys. Iowa State and Texas on Black Friday. Also Notre Dame and North Carolina on Black Friday. And the Civil War on Black Friday. Oregon and Oregon State. And we also got Pittsburgh against Clemson, Oklahoma against West Virginia. And we also have Colorado against USC. But in all honesty, we also got LSU against Texas A&M to keep an eye on. But the big one next week, gentlemen, the Iron Bowl, Auburn and Alabama. That's on Wednesday. Thursday, no show. Thanksgiving, obviously. Friday, next Friday, a very special edition of the Wrestling Forum. It's not going to be just the Cerebral Smack Talk. We're going to combine Wednesday Night Mayhem and the Cerebral Smack Talk into a mega show. So you want to talk about Thanksgiving leftovers, here you go. AEW Dynamite, NXT, and Friday Night SmackDown, all in one show. That's next Friday night, Black Friday, and then the NFL show after that for the remaining games of the week, and then we go from there. So very exciting programming coming up. So those are the games we're going to get into all next week on our Big Football Feast show on Wednesday, one of my favorite shows of the year. Always look forward to that time. So, all right. So with that being said, that will put the bow on this Week 12 edition of College Football Thursday. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk over on MF's channel, Bracefan 95, it's Anthony Florio here for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, good old MF Michael Fletcher, along with Dee Dee Woodson, and always and forever, Derek Forever. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune Force style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, you've been watching Week 12 of Strictly Sports College Football Thursday right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. And bye, everybody, bye.